Hey, what's up, guys? Will here, and I had three things I wanted to get off my chest today as I look forward to the 2025 year. There's three things in particular I think are going to be super helpful for other people to hear as well. So not only do you not feel alone, but you're forewarned because there's some big things going to inevitably go down in 2025. So let's just break down a couple of these, right? And I'm just going to talk to you straight from the hip, and we'll try to get these in each day to keep up with each other. First of all, you should just be aware. There is going to be a massive workforce disruption here in 2025, okay? So I know that there's a lot of fear mongers and people out there that would talk about, oh, AI is going to do this and AI is going to do that, and some people say AI is junk and it's just a prediction token. There's a lot of talk about it, but as somebody who studied it for the past 4 years and I've seen it progressively get to where we are today, I just want to level set with you. I work with Fortune 100 companies and on the AI teams, specifically with the strategy and product. And I'm telling you, there is a big change coming down the pike in 2025 based on where we're at, based on the reliability of what we're able to get out of AI, and based on what we're able to do to mimic work that humans do, and in many cases, better. Now, there will be people who disagree, and you might be one of them, but I'm not saying this to scare you. Actually, I'm telling you this for your good, and here's why. The people who are actually taking it seriously, wherever you fall on the spectrum of what AI will do, can do, should do, etc., if you take it serious enough, you will at minimum start to consider what it looks like for you to be revenue generating in 2025 and beyond. So even if I was wrong and it was delayed of a little bit longer, what does it mean for your particular work industry? So many people know I sold the courses. I wrote my first ebook back in 1999, and I sold that pretty easily because there wasn't a lot of competition back then. But I basically partnered up with somebody who offered grants, and based on what I do, it was a complimentary audience, and so they sold it. I paid them 50% of each other price, and I was hand over fist. It was easy. But the point is, the reason why people were willing to pay at that time $47 for a step-by-step book was because it was packaged information on demand when they needed it. If you can see, at very minimum, what you can do today with AI is get information that is at least reliable enough. There are citations, you can get it from Perplexity, you can get it from Gemini with the citations built in, and even now with OpenAI. You're able to get information on demand in the way that you want, and even change it. Like, one thing you couldn't do with my book when I was selling it, it was a book, and I would sell, and it would say, here's how I wrote it. What you couldn't do is say, hey, knock it down to an 8th grader vocabulary, or teach me like I'm a new person that never heard of this topic before. And so you would find there was an ability to do that because it was a book I wrote. But here with today, with information, what can you do? You can do exactly that. You can take, law contracts and break them down into ways that you want to understand them in vocabulary that's helpful for you to understand what it's actually saying. And you could do it in concise, bite size. You can do it in larger language. You can do it in metaphor. Whatever it takes for you to learn, the tools are there for you. And so if you can't sell information, which is primarily what people are doing, right? They're selling information when they're giving you their products and services, their coaching, etc. What happens when information is easier to acquire, cheaper, faster, more reliable, and in ways that each person can digest it best, and it's ubiquitous? It's at their fingertips. They can get it from 5 different large language models. What happens at that point? I think the answer is pretty clear. The need is going to go down. So Fiverr was a place where I've been for many years now, outsourcing when I wanted to get maybe a thumbnail or some sort of a Facebook ad video created, or I needed somebody to do an intro, or I needed a book formatted or web page created, I would just go to Fiverr and pay somebody who knows that really well and can do it. Well, here's the problem. Now with vision and with the ability of what AI can do in these image generative models and agents, and the ability to build agents and teams and introduce them all together, there is no longer a requirement for me to go to Fiverr. It's just not necessary. And so it's taking real people and all of a sudden taking the income opportunity away from them. And even if you say, oh, that's just me, that's still the ideal, that I'm no longer having to pay that to a freelancer. Not even by choice, it's by demand. You don't run a profitable business if you're not watching where you spend money and doing work that you can do. So you just have to extrapolate yourself and what you see other people doing. And I've got no reason to want to mislead anyone. I want everyone to succeed, which is why you're getting these videos from me. You should know, in 2025, there's going to be a massive workforce impact. And in that workforce impact, because AI is going to be able to do consistently the work, whether it be call centers or legal documents or transcription, things that people were able to rely on for quite some time. There's not much. It's got vision, so it can see and interpret. It's got image generation through words. It's got speech, so it can speak back. The inference level with advanced language right now is at a point where it's just as fast as a human. And your ability to modify things is just as fast there too. So you're hearing a bunch of things from me, but what I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to pull the shade up for you, if you will. And if you don't see it, I just want you to accept there's a good possibility what I say is true. What does that mean for you? So this is really where we're going to turn the corner here. What does it mean for you? What does it mean for me? What does it mean for my family? What does it mean to your family? What it means is you better be prepared. You better be prepared for a totally different frontier to how money is made, okay? It's going to impact people. And people say, well, there won't be work to do. That's great. Not great. I think we as humans, it's in us. We feel fulfilled when we work. It's something that we should always do. And even if work is redefined, what's the value? Why are people going to pay for that? Now, I have coaching clients that would say, hey, it's not coming to my industry. That doesn't affect me. I invest in real estate. AI is not going to build homes, or if they did, it's not going to affect me. Everyone's still going to need a home. And that's true. But when you have to back it out, what people don't do is the 6 degrees of separation math, if you will, where you actually say, well, okay, fine, but where does that person go to work to pay their mortgage? Or how are they getting the mortgage to begin with to pay for the home? Where are they getting the groceries from? Because they have a job, and are they impacted? And chances are, whatever industry they're in, if they're not directly impacted immediately, the industry they serve are directly impacted. So it's not any longer about just what you do. It's also about what you do and for whom you do that. So when you consider the ideal between I serve people by renting them a home that I own, great, they will still need that. There's no question that's going away in 2025 or anytime soon. The question is, what do they do? Because they have to pay you for that. And that's the math you got to really consider. And even if you move down that chain one generation and you say, well, they're a truck driver, so they're not going to be really impacted. Immediately, that might be so. It might take a year or two longer for the trucks that are going to do what Tesla does. It might take a little bit longer for the robotics, but who are they serving as a truck driver? So you have to question yourself and say, what is it that, who's it that I work for? And who is it that they do work for? And at some point, there's going to be a real backlog, right? There's going to be a backlog of people saying, I don't serve this market anymore because the information is ubiquitous. At our hands, we can generate real information. And where people get stuck with this is they say, well, I'm just going to go ahead and create my own website and I'll do this and I'll do that with my AI knowledge. I'll learn this. And I think that's really good. It's a good start. But the problem is, if you're not skating to where the puck is going, you're going to build things that work in today's atmosphere, but not necessarily what does it look like down the road. And that's what these videos are for. I really want to help you see what I'm going to be building and what I'm doing to prepare this family here. I got kids to feed and a home to put over our head. And I want to be able to navigate these waters, knowing what I know and having been involved with AI as much as possible. I want to navigate these waters in a way that I serve other people along the way. So people like you, if you're interested at least in seeing that there's something going to change here, and I'm not really sure what it is, well, I don't have a crystal ball either, but I do see the writing on the wall. So I'm not having to guess very far. We must reinvent the way we produce income. One frame at a time, if you will. And the time to do it is right now. The time to do it is not the next 10,000 people they lay off. The time to do it is right now, because there's no job stability in any market. As far as I'm concerned, there wasn't before, but now there certainly is a less stable environment, because marketplaces are slowly but surely starting to get wiped out. Look at the trends. Do it yourself. Look how many jobs have been changed. And yeah, you'll see people like Sam Altman will say new jobs will be created. Yes, it's definitely going to wipe people's jobs out, but new jobs are going to be created. I don't doubt that new jobs will be created. The question is, will you be able to do those types of jobs? And how many of them are available comparatively to how many people get wiped out? That's the real question and answer. And he has been confronted with that and has said, to his own credit, I think, I don't know, we've got to do more work. We're taking it serious and we've got to do more work on that. Well, do more work. You're disrupting the entire humanity right here. So there's a beacon or some sort of a initial call that I'm trying to put out there to say, we need to dig into a couple things and find out how to reinvent ourselves in this new wave with AI coming in to disrupt things like never before. Like, people will often compare it to the internet. It's nothing like the internet. It might be in the scale of how much it opened up, but the internet is more of a vehicle for things to be done maybe a little differently. This is a replacement theory. This is a come in and take over what we do and do it with more efficiency, and take away the hard labor and take away the skilled labor, the white collar, the blue collar, all of that is going to have to take a major, major dent. And while there will always be those niches that will want the human touch, and there are people that want the human touch, the comparison of how small a group that is comparatively to what happens today is just going to be far and away is going to make a massive impact. So what we're going to do is we're going to start talking about what is it that we what's our mindset that we play in, and what's the frame of mind that we actually address tomorrow with, so we're not just in despair, we're not hopeless, and we're also just not sitting back waiting for things to happen. And one of those things is just using good wisdom and staying in touch with people who actually are watching the space and entering it openly, not putting their head in the sand, not saying that's too nerdy or that's too future, that's too techie, whatever the case would be. People that are just going to go in and get their hands dirty, like myself, like you possibly, and figure out what this is going to change. Because the change is big, the change is real, and it's coming soon. And so right now, I actually see in my mind's eye, I've got something like this. See if this resonates with you. We used to watch Little House on the Prairie as our kids were growing up, right? And in Little House on the Prairie, you saw like Mrs. Ingalls, she would gather eggs around the farm, bring the eggs into the Olsen Mercantile and trade for fabric or sugar or molasses or something. But it was harvest your own value at home that other people would want and bring it in and trade for the goods that are valuable to you in the future. So her job wasn't like this job she clocked in and out. Her job was raise chickens at home, get the eggs, sell them to the mercantile in a trade relationship. So you're trading value for value, and now you both have what you need. The mercantile has the eggs to sell it to others to earn cash, and Mrs. Ingalls in that particular case has the fabric to sew the clothes or the sugar or the coffee or whatever the case would be. And that's how you have to start thinking. So what does your plow field, what does your ranch have on it that you are going to harvest your value? What does that look like? Because you need to bring your value to the marketplace in the future, and somehow it's got to be valuable enough that other people see it, realize it, desire it, and have the ability to either trade or pay for it. So that's the headspace that I'm operating in, and if that gives you any insight to where we're going, that should be a good picture to hang on to, because that's how I kind of see the future navigating itself. Is it's no longer going to be just about cash currency. It'll obviously be equity change, where value is exchanged based on what you're able to bring to the table, what's in your farmland, so to speak, in your home, what's in your domain that you are going to be known for, the source of goods that you have, and what are you bringing? And so one of the things we'll talk about as we kind of go through is, what am I working on? How do I see the puck going to a new place that we haven't been before? And how do you start preparing for that sort of thing? And one of the things that you just want to put on your radar is knowing how to use AI for yourself. Now, I'm not talking about coding. I'm not talking about machine learning necessarily. I'm talking about the AI large language models that are made available to us more and more by the day. And I'm also talking about not necessarily just becoming an expert in all of everything. I'm actually talking about your ability to master what the output is. Some might call that prompt engineering, but it's far more than prompts. It's actually understanding how to get image generation to respond to you in the way you need, how to get voice generation to respond to you in the way you need, how to get text generation to respond to you in the way you need. Because when you do that, you now are cornering the market so that they can be whatever we need them to be. So as you are looking to create your value and distribute it and scale and learn new things as well, you'll have the ability to master these. And so that's the talk track that will be on here as I kind of introduce to you how you do exactly that, what you can do today to really understand it. So you're not going down token prediction, machine learning algorithms, algebra. This is nothing like that. What I want you to do is say, here's the tool. What tools do I need? And consider that to be the tools of the farm, right? I have the plow to turn over I have the seed to plant, I have the water to water. For your value field, what is that going to look like? And so we're going to talk about how you master each one of those domains, those large language, image, voice, vision, text generation models. And then what can we build with them? Because now we know how to elicit certain responses. Now, how do we put them together to do the right things that will produce value? Part of that is going to be acting in the moment and seeing how things are navigating. And part of that is just going to be practicing what's valuable to people and stay in touch with that over time. So as we move towards the new value economy in the future, what do other people want from you that you could provide? And you have it, I promise you do. It's just a matter of you editing your own internal thoughts for it. So it's going to be a real conversation. There's not going to be any edits in these videos. It's just going to be straight up, here's the idea of the day. I want you to chew on that and then show up, and tomorrow let's build on that. And what you'll get from me is everything I have foresight-wise, application-wise, so it's not just theory here. And we'll go into the computer screen and we'll kind of talk about how to get yourself prepared for that and how to always be thinking that. So if you have your thoughts on it, drop a comment below, share the video, subscribe, and I'd love to stay in touch with you as a new creator here in this type of a channel. I want you to feel like you've got a voice of reason who's not going to go hype on you. He's also not going to go nuke on you either, right? He's like a good voice of reason who's in the mix himself, who's got a family, who's just like you, and just gonna do his best to navigate this, and I want you to have that voice here. So if that's for you, drop a comment down below, and let's get in the labs together and see what we can make for the new frontier, the new value economy going forward. All right, guys, that's it for today. Look forward to tomorrow. Again, subscribe, share, comment. Let me know what you're thinking. I'd love to hear some of your own thought process of what this plays out to be. Just be respectful. People are going to have a different viewpoint, by the way. So, respect what other people say. Not asking you to agree, even with me. Just respect, okay? That's the plane that I want to operate on. And let's put our minds together and see what we can't pull out here. All right, guys, we'll talk to you later. Have a great day.